All good. There he is.
Oh, there he is. I like to see.
So hang on. So that's the outside now.
Lovely. Oh, God, it feels like home.
Inside as well. I say we are filming each class, but I've just been checking that when you're doing it in class, you are just a shadow now. You can't see who it is, and then this is the outside.
Ooh, I like it.
Pretty funky.
You can change the colours of the lights as well.
And then in the actual studio, there's just nothing.
No tech. Look on the ceilings though. Look at these.
Oh, okay.
These nice light spotlights.
So lights on the ceiling. One little camera there. One little camera there.
Oh my God.
And then Jen has two monitors. She's got this one which shows what's going out.
I can see
And that's you guys. Yeah. And then so this is all ready for people practicing. That's what I've been trying to do. I wanted to make it really good online, but not take away here.
I'm getting high on paint fumes.
Anyway, I need to put the class on.
Yeah, you've got less than 2 minutes.
Dun 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 dun.
Is the plan to open the studio and then still have online classes as well?
Yeah. So if people are uncomfortable coming back into with social distancing, they can still practice online. They can still practice at home, or if they've not got opportunity to come in, they can still practice at home. So yeah, it's just making. I think a lot. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but you just don't know how people are going to respond coming back into normal, because I don't think it's going to be normal anymore, is it? It's different. So
for me, it's just that people can do it anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, it's just so people can do it anywhere and everywhere. Yeah. Anywhere and everywhere.
Fit more classes in.
Say again, Rach.
I'll be able to fit more classes in.
Yeah.
Some online, some with you.
Exactly. And also we've applied for our permit to do yoga in the park as well. So Monday 5:30 to 7:30 in the evening, and same on Wednesday, and then Saturday 9:30 till 11:30. I'm going really quick because we've got 50 seconds left. But yeah, the parks are going to be Bowl Hills, Crooks Valley, and Botanic. So just waiting to hear back from those. So yeah, we can. I don't know when they get back to me.
I think you need a permit to do that.
Yeah, you have to submit War and Peace as well, as you can imagine. Risk assessments, various qualifications, insurances, blah 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 blah. Right, 24 seconds. Let's go. Should we start front up? We'll start front. Okay, so yeah, come on down into your wide leg child's pose. I'm just going to pause so I can speak to for the purpose of the filming. We obviously have to start the class just after it hits 0. So you guys rock on down into your wide legged child's pose. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Rise. Welcome to Flex number 10. And enjoy this session. Nice, challenging session. Lots of fun involved. Take it as you need. Get from it what you need in your practice today. And let's go. We're going to start off in wide leg child's pose. So knees out nice and wide, allowing the spine to drape long as you bring the fingertips forwards towards the front edge of the mat. And you can make this a really passive pose. You can let the elbows come down. You can just rest the forehead down on the earth. Letting the hips sink to the heels. Letting the shoulders find space. Just breathing into the back body. So as you breathe in, you'll be able to feel the lungs expand and the rib cage lift. As you exhale, maybe you can feel that gradual sinking sensation down towards the earth with the hips. If you've got quite tight shoulders and you want to make the arms a bit more active, press into the fingertips and tent the fingers, lifting the elbows off the ground. Again, as you sink the forehead down between the arms, just engages the tops of the shoulders and the upper arms as well. So breathing into your child's pose. It's always a great way to start a class. You can find space in lots of different areas without having to move around too much. Taking one more breath here. And then waking your way up on the inhale, we're going to come into a tabletop. So take the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. I can't remember what I was going to say then. Okay, so we're going to take a cat-cow. So press down hard through the fingertips. Make sure the knees are in line with the hips. And then starting to use the pelvis. Inhaling, lifting the gaze, letting the chart Heart, oh my goodness, put your teeth in, Jen. Heart swell through the upper arms as you find that little lower back dish shape, and then exhaling, rounding through the spine. Finding that angry cat pose. And again, inhale, lifting the gaze. So not lifting the head right up, we don't want to compress the back of the neck. We want to find length through the back of the neck. And then exhale, rounding through the spine. So really squeezing, engaging the glutes here. If you want to make this a larger movement, you can, on the exhale in that rounded cat position, just dropping the hips to the heels, and then inhaling, scooping the chest between the upper arms. So taking 2 more little flows here. Well done. Final one. Nice work. So from your tabletop, I want you to think about extending that right leg out behind you and then sweeping it over and planting it down on the left side of your mat. Okay, so you feel that nice stretch out down the right side of the body. And then from there, we're going to find a lateral bend. So looking around towards the left and maybe bringing the gaze towards that left toe. So extending through the right leg, engaging the quad. And as you press the hips over towards the left, you'll get that really nice deep stretch through the right-hand side of the body. Just taking another couple of breaths. Just might be mindful of the shoulders, they're not hunching up next to the ears. And then bringing the gaze back to center and returning the right knee underneath the right hip. Extend the left leg long. Inhale. Exhale, pop the left big toe down as far over as you feel comfortable. And then slowly, if that feels enough, just keep the gaze looking down towards the fingers. Maybe taking that lateral bend through the spine as you look over the right shoulder towards that left foot. So really C-shaping through the spine here. Just finding a bit of space down through the side body. Well done for another 3. Move those shoulders back and down. Squeeze onto that tummy. 2. And 1. Take the gaze down and bringing the left knee back underneath. Let's enjoy a little thread the needle pose. So you can take this from all fours, or if it's your preference, you can drop back down into child's pose and take that thread from there. So we're taking a lift of the right arm. As we exhale, we're posting the right arm behind the left wrist, bringing the right ear down onto the ground. You can extend away with the left hand. You can sweep the left hand all the way up and over and behind the lower back. As I said, so you can take it from here, from this kneeling position, or if you prefer to drop the sit bones back towards the heels, that can also feel quite nice. So see what works for you. Just going to take another couple of breaths. I'll have a little play around with tiger pose. Grrr. Well done. Sliding the left hand back underneath the left shoulder. Inhale back through center, and let's go on the left side. So knees underneath the hips, right hand underneath the right shoulder. Inhale, left arm sweeps, opens the chest. Exhale, pop it behind the right wrist, bringing the left ear down. And again, taking one of those various options with the arms, whatever feels comfortable for you, around the back or out in front. Planting the palm, lifting the palm, head to the fingers. Again, just finding a bit more release into the shoulders. Well done. Give me 3 breaths here. And we'll move back into some fluidity through the spine. Well done. Slide that right hand back underneath the shoulder. Inhale back through center. Okay, so this move, tiger pose, is based on this tabletop position. So you want to make sure the hips are over the knees. We're going to extend the right toe towards the ceiling. So you bring in the right thigh parallel to the floor. Gaze is still down at this point, so make sure that you feel strong and balanced here. So we've got that 90-degree knee bend on that right leg. Okay, so what you can do from here is start to press the chest through the upper arm. So you're coming into this tiger sort of position. Then we're going to take a knee drive. So we're bringing the knee slowly through between the arms and dropping the gaze down towards the knee, bringing the nose towards the knee. And then inhaling, lifting back up. Trying to not roll towards the left-hand side. It's really tough. Back to center. Squeeze the abs. 1 more. Inhale to lift. And exhale back to center. Well done. Shoot the right foot back out directly behind you now and see if you can float up with the left arm. So we've got our kneeling Superman. Always fun, engages different sides of the brain, so it means that we have to concentrate really hard. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. Always a good one for testing the balance. Press down through the fingertips and then release. Okay, tiger pose on the other side. So when you're ready, bend that left knee, float the left big toe up towards the sky. Try to avoid rolling onto this right side if you can. Spread out the fingers, press down and engage. So we're looking up towards the space out in front of you. Inhale. Let's go knee to nose. So you can imagine what's happening through the spine here, just helping to mobilize the spine, keep it nice and healthy and strong. One more knee drive. Awesome stuff. Well done. Squeeze it in. And if you remember, we're going to shoot the left foot out behind and then maybe float up with that right arm as well. No worries if you don't want to take that hand off the floor. Just engaging through that back foot. You can flex the foot or you can point the toes, just engaging different leg muscles, whatever you find works for you. More than anything, working the glutes here for 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Take the left hand down. Right hand down and the left knee. Tuck the toes and scoop those sit bones high. Finding our first down dog of class. Make sure the hands are shoulder width apart and that pointer finger is coming towards the front edge of your mat. This allows you to squeeze in the upper arms, drop the chest down between the upper arms and maybe pedal out through the legs. You could always take a really deep knee bend and you could always shuffle the hands and feet closer together if you want the stretch through the back of the legs a bit more. Or you can walk the feet back, allowing you to move into the upper body and the shoulders a bit more. So find what feels nice. Encourage you to find what feels good rather than what looks good in your down dog. Maybe allowing the head to rock one way and then the other. Take a little shake of the head. All right, squeeze those abs. Let's roll forward, find plank. Exhale down, elbows tuck in, low plank. All of this can be done on the knees. Inhale, lift up, upward facing dog. And then rolling back into your downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to start off with our press sequence. Before that, let's take a little bit of weight out the shoulders. Look to the thumbs and hop to hands or walk forwards. Inhale, nice flat back. Bend the knees as much as you need as you fold into your nice floppy release. Your forward fold, your bend from the hips. Inhale. And exhale, soften a bit more if that feels okay. Try to bring the weight forward into the balls of the feet so you bring in the hips over the heels rather than taking the hips towards the back end of your mat. If you need to take the hands down to support you, you could always use a brick at this point if you don't feel that you want to bend the knees too much more. All right, well done. Let's bend those knees and rise up tall. Reach up to the sky. Inhale and exhale. You've got the space. Swan dive forwards. If you haven't got the space, take the hands through to the heart center. Plant down with the hands and step it back to plank. Now, we're going to start in this sequence in Flex 10 with a star press. Now, you can make this fairly simple by taking a tap out with the left foot and the right hand and then coming back to center. And then left hand and right foot, keeping the hips down in line with the shoulders. You could always take alternate with a knee down. That could make it a bit easier. Or if you want to, you can take a tap out and a press. Okay, so a star press. Then back into that central line, tap out and press. Keep going, whichever variation you're taking, for another 5, 4, 3. We've got back bend next, locust, 2, and 1. Making sure that the last one is as good as the first one. Back to plank, take the weight forwards and lower down, all the way down, elbows tucking in, onto the belly. So we're going to take a single side locust, but with opposite arm, opposite foot. So it's a little bit like that Superman engagement. Taking the left arm out, bring the right arm down by the side body. We're going to try and see if we can lift up the right leg and the left arm. So press down hard through the top of the left foot as you squeeze and lift that right leg. So extending and pointing away through the toes, using that lower body strength to allow you to float up through the torso. So you're keeping the right arm and the left leg grounded as we squeeze and lift and open, trying to find that length through the crown of the head so we're not looking up and jerking up there. Well done. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and breathe. Nice one. For 3, 2, and 1. Let's swap it over. So the right arm reaches out and the left arm comes back. Press down through the left foot this time. Through the right foot this time. Inhale and lift. And engage. So it's all about the engagement through the lower part of the body to facilitate this back bend, this lift. Well done. For 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Press into the hands. Rock it back into a kneeling twist. So bringing the hips down onto the heels, sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, left arm forward, right arm back. So planting the right hands down behind the toes, sitting up tall, find that engagement through the belly, and then working that belly button around to the right hand side of the mat, letting the heart melt over towards the right hand side. Maybe the gaze just follows gently. And then exhale back through center, arms lift. Nice work, and round to the other side. Right hand onto the left knee, sitting up tall, and releasing from there. For 3, 2, well done. And 1. Back to center, okay. Take the forearms down to the ground. We're going to come into a forearm side plank. So we're going to start on the right hand side. So if you extend your feet out into a forearm plank, the easiest way then is to roll towards the left hand side, bringing this right forearm down. Some people like to have their hands facing forwards. I sort of like to have mine about 90 degrees, but taking the left arm up. From there, see if you can take a lift of that left foot. No worries if not. You can always take both feet down, or staggered or stacked. Okay, so taking that squeeze and lift. If you've got the arm and legs lift, let's take a little crunch. So we're squeezing in and extending out. For 5. Well done. 4. 3. Really good. 2. And 1. Come back through center. Right, hold me a forearm plank, folkies. So press the feet away, but being careful not to press the feet away from that toe line. So if you want you to roll forward slightly so the heels are over the balls of the feet. Okay, from there, switch on the quads, draw up the kneecaps, and round through the shoulders a little bit. So you're really pressing into the shoulders. It's going to really fire up your forearm plank. And just hold it there. Don't forget to breathe. You're doing really well. For 5. For 4. Can we squeeze a bit more? 3, 2, 1. Rock your forearm side plank. Left forearm down, right arm reaching. Option to bring the right foot high and squeeze it in. Knee to elbow, lengthen out. So keeping that butt in check, making sure the hips are in line with the shoulders. You're not sticking the bum out behind you. Another 3, 2, 1, well done. Coming back through center, finding your forearm plank, pressing up through your full plank, and let's transition. Or you can rest if you want to. Lower down, low plank. Inhale, up dog. Back into down dog. And hips to the sky. Have a little wiggle out in your down dog. Let the head rest easy. And look to the thumbs. All right, hop forwards. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. And exhale, releasing into your forward fold. So we've got a few poses here which we don't do a lot of at Rise, but they're quite nice. Starting off with moon pose. So bend the knees, inhale, rise up tall. And exhale, hands down to the heart center. So from here, we're going to take an interlock of the hands. I'm going to press the palms all the way up to the ceiling. So it's like a mountain pose. So start from the base, ground down through the feet, big toe, little toe, and heel. And then, I don't know if you can see what my thighs are doing here. You get that external rotation of the hips. It's like you're turning the femur, the thigh bone out. So you can get that engagement down the outside here. So from there, press up. So you've got that strong base, you've got that strong foundation. This is going to avoid that duck and that tilt of the pelvis. So squeeze in the belly, lift up tall. Inhale. Exhale, close the eyes. If you're feeling balanced this morning, got a nice stretch out through the abs, shoulders moving south, away from the ears. Perfect. For 3, 2, and 1. Okay, fig tree pose to start off with. So bringing the hands back down for a second, we're going to take the right foot onto the ankle on the left leg, the inner calf, or maybe into the inner thigh. Really doesn't matter where, as long as you're not pressing on the knee. Okay, so from here, the hands are still interlocked, but instead of pressing up to the sky, we're going to bring them onto the crown of the head. So that in itself might be challenging enough. If your balance is a bit skew-whiff this morning, stay here. If you're able to, we're going to start with a little slow bend, lateral bend of bringing this right elbow down towards that right knee. So take it slow, don't rush it. Squeezing down from there. Ooh. Don't worry if you're wobbling, that's good. Lots of muscle recruitment going on. Keep lifting up through that left elbow, opening through the shoulders. For 3, 2, 1, inhale, come through center, and then take a big step back with that right foot. Try to avoid putting the foot down if you can. Sweeping a long surface leg stride on your mat, we're going to come to hips and heart warrior. So taking that front hand, the left hand, into this half prayer position. Right arm is going to come all the way around the lower back and see if you can bind at that front hip. No worries if not, just take the hand behind the lower back. So think about warrior legs here, warrior 2. So you're sinking deep into that left knee, making sure it's not dropping into center. Inhale and exhale, come on down. So hips and heart warrior. So you can gaze over towards the front or you can look over towards the side, encouraging this right shoulder back. So you get that lovely opening through the right shoulder and that nice toning, deepening workout for the legs. If you wanted to press into the front of your left foot, that would be an option to make it a bit stronger. So it's the hand, the same hand and leg. So if you've got your left leg forward, it's the left hand that comes to the heart center. It's always a bit tricky. It's a bit of a twister pose, this one. For 3, we'll come into a twisted lunge next. 2, 1, pop that front heel down, bring that back arm all the way around. So you're bringing the hands together, then pivot on the back foot. So you're in that lunge, inhale, and let's go. Twist it over towards the left this time. So you can keep the hands together, just that light touch of the right elbow onto the thigh, so we're not bringing all our weight down. Or alternatively, if you prefer to take the right hand down to the floor and reach up with the left, that's always a nice alternative. So we're taking this twisted lunge, this lift and this rotation. Drop down with hips a bit more. Make those legs work hard. Nice work. So nice stress-relieving pose, this one. Working on that rotation through the spine. Great for your gut health as well. For 3, 2, I'm going to warn you now, we're heading into standing half moon. Prepare yourselves. And 1, you might want to block. Inhale, come through center. Left hand's going to plant just in front of the left foot. I'm going to take that big kick up with that right leg. So this leg is on fire. I'm just going to move back a little bit so I'm not coming over the front of my mat. So you can use a block, as I said. If you wanted to pop something underneath that left hand, that's a good way of starting to open out without testing the hamstrings too much. So easiest way to do it is to take the right hand onto the hip. Inhale. As you exhale, roll that right hip on top of the left and start to look over towards the right hand side. So we're taking this long star-shaped position, extending limb from limb, maybe then starting to float up with the right arm as well. If you're feeling really wobbly, just keep looking down. So it's like you're being trapped between 2 panes of glass. You want to stay in that one single line. So deep breath in. Make sure you're fully engaging this top lifted leg by either flexing or pointing the toes. Totally up to you. Lifting and opening there. Well done. Keep breathing into that left leg. I know it's tough. For 3, we're going to take triangle pose next. 2 and 1. Now think grace. Okay, don't just plonk that right foot down. Bend that front knee and float into your triangle. So 2 straight legs, slight bit of relief for this front left leg. Float up with the arms, shoulder height, inhale. And exhale, start to release. Left finger's coming forwards. Reaching as far as you can and then taking that lovely windmill down. So you can stay really high with the left fingers miles away from the ground. If that allows you to open up through the chest and not close the chest off to the floor, that's where you want to be. You can always use a brick underneath. If you can come down a bit deeper without sticking your bum out, have a go. So it's triangle pose, super nice, great for stretching out the side body. Think about that engagement through that back quad as well. Switch it on, don't get lazy. For 3, for 2, and 1. Take the gaze down, soften the front knee, and bring the arms up to shoulder height. From here, I want you to pivot forwards and take a shorter stride. So trying to bring the feet, if you imagine that central line down the middle of the mat, you want both sets of toes facing forwards as we come into a pyramid. Now, a lot of people find this really hard to keep the balance, so feel free if you want to step out a bit wider on this one, that's cool. So feet, ideally, moving in line with the hips. Hips are facing forwards, hands can come onto the hips. We find a nice tall spine. Deep breath, and then start to float forwards, using the crown of the head as our guide. That's it. And it might be that you get to here, where the chest is parallel to the floor, and that might feel like plenty, in which case stay there. If you have got a block and you want to use that as a bit of a support to rest on, you can do that, or maybe a book would do. If you're feeling quite open in the hammies, you might bring the hands to the floor. you might start to fold forwards, just letting the crown of the head be your counterbalance. A lot of people here, in order to try and get depth in the pose, will lift up that back heel. That's not what we're aiming for. Keep it connected. It's much better to lift up a little bit more than it is to lift up through that back heel. So this is our pyramid pose. Deep, steady breaths. Well done. Because you've got your head down quite low, it's a good one for calming the brain. Another one that's good for digestion, actually, this one. Nice deep breaths. All right, one more inhale. And exhale. Okay, taking the gaze to that front foot. Bend that front knee for me and then take your right foot to meet your left. From there, take the hands to the floor and step it back into plank. Let's transition between both sides. Low down, low plank. Inhale, feel strong in your up dogs. Nice release for the back as well. And exhale, reaching out. So you should have some idea where we're going with this next time. So take the feet towards the thumbs once more, walking or hopping. Inhaling, find that flat back. Exhaling to release. And then thinking about our moon pose once more. Bend the knees, inhale to rise up. Bringing the hands to touch. This time just press on up to the ceiling. Find that external rotation if you look at my legs. Through the hips. And maybe closing the eyes. Shoulders away from ears. Some people really struggle with this if they have limited shoulder flexibility. So if you need to release the hands and just take the palms to face each other, that's cool. So 3, 2, and 1. Release the hands into prayer at the heart center. This time taking that fig tree pose with the left leg lifted. So engage through the right leg. Press down through the foot, engage the quad. The ankle, the calf, or the inner thigh is your option here. Wherever you are, find that long, tall balance shape. Feel in control of your balance. And then maybe start to bring the hands interlocked with the palms resting on the crown of the head. And again, if you're feeling particularly wobbly, which I am today, you might want to stay here. Otherwise, we're going to have a slow exhale with that left elbow down to your left knee. So as you do this, you're really finding space down the right side of the body, all the way from the outside of the thigh up to the armpit. Well done. So 3. Hips and heart warriors coming up. Remember, it's going to be the right hand that comes to the heart center. 2. And 1. Inhale, lift up and step back. Long stride with that left foot. So heel to inner arch alignment and bring in right hand into heart center. Left arm all the way around. See if you can take hold of the thigh as you come down into that crease there. So again, rather than trying to lean forward on this one, I want you to think about staying nice and upright and tall, and just check that front knee's not dropping into center. Just have a look, make sure it's not dropping into the middle. It destabilizes the knee, which is not a particularly stable joint anyway. And you can look over to the side, encouraging this left shoulder to rotate back, or if you feel more comfortable looking forward, you can, maybe even lifting up that front heel, just to get that extra challenge in your front leg. So hips and heart warrior, nice little variation on our normal warrior positions, making sure that we're lifting up that left kneecap by engaging our left quad and pressing away down the outside edge of that left foot. Perfect. Breathing in and out. Twisted lunge coming up. One more breath here, inhale. Exhale the front heel down, releasing the left hand, bringing it towards the right, and then pivoting. Whoa, nearly fell over. Maybe taking a shorter stride, catch the balance, inhale. Exhale, let's twist. So taking the left elbow outside of the right thigh, not allowing that right knee to knock in, lift up tall, and again, find a bit more squeeze, bit more rotation. If you need to drop down onto that back knee, that is an option. It's not an option that I gave you on the other side, but you can modify however you like if you find that this is too strong in the legs. So squeeze in through the belly, letting the heart move towards the hands for 3, 2. We've got our standing half moon. Are you ready for this? And 1. Inhale, come through center. So taking the right hand down to the floor, kicking up high with the left leg, and maybe just staying here until you feel that the wobbles have disappeared and wobbled off. Taking the left hand to the left hip, inhale. Exhale, see if you can rotate and open, stacking the left hip on top of the right, kicking up high, engaging the outside of the thigh, and then maybe taking the left arm to the sky here as we stretch out in our standing half moon. Squeeze and lift. Maybe point the toe, maybe flex the toe, maybe take some nice little circles of the ankle. Any variations feel good. For 3, triangle next, 2, and 1. Remember, soft landing, floating back with that left foot. Heel to inner arch alignment, 2 straight legs this time, floating up with the arms to shoulder height, tucking the pelvis under, inhale, exhale, reaching right fingers towards the front of your space, and then windmilling down. If you want to encourage more opening through that top shoulder, you might want to bring your left hand into that lower back area once more. If you feel like it's too much, taking the left arm up. Again, you can use your block here, or you could take your hand onto the shin for a bit more support. Just trying to avoid this position where you're sticking your bum out behind you, so tucking that pelvis underneath. Nice work. We've got pyramid pose, and then we're going to be working in some hips and core. For 3, and a 2, and a 1. Good stuff. Taking the gaze down, releasing that left arm, lifting up through the torso, so still staying strong in this right leg, taking that shorter, narrower step in. So depending on how flexible your hamstrings are, it's easier to have the feet a little bit closer together. Remember, you want the heels down. If you're quite open through the hamstrings, you might have quite a long, wide stride. Okay, take the foot out if you feel a bit wobbly. But essentially, both sets of toes want to be facing forwards with all of the foot planted down. So again, think re-engage. Big toe, little toe, heel, hands to hips to start off. Stand tall, engage the belly, inhale. And exhale, lead with the crown. Fine, in that halfway, pause. Just check in with that left hip. So it's that sensation of taking this right hip backwards as this left hip moves forwards. Okay, even if you put your hands on your hips here, you'll be able to feel that twist around. Okay, maybe taking the hands down onto a block or onto the floor and slowly folding over your right leg. So it's like a staggered forward fold in the sense that you want to keep the sit bones high, but also moving into the hips here. So it is really strong into this right hamstring. Take a few more breaths here. Breathe into it. It's quite calming because you've got your head hanging down. For 3, 2, and 1. So bringing a knee bend into that front leg, stepping forward with that left leg, bend the knees, inhale to rise up, and exhaling hands down to heart center. So just going to take a little step out, we've got time, with the left foot all the way towards the back of the mat. I'm going to take a wide leg forward fold. So either having the feet parallel or maybe even turning the big toes in ever so slightly. Weight wants to be in the balls of the feet here. We're going to inhale to lift and exhale. Just start moving down. I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. Start moving down into this parallel chested position. So you can release the arms if you want and take them out wide. So this is extending through the backs of the legs. Again, just as before, as I mentioned at the beginning of class, if your bottom's heading that way, just start to move forward into the balls of the feet, okay? And see how much that changes the stretch down the back of the legs. You can always release the hands down underneath the shoulders if they'll go, or use a brick if your hamstrings are feeling quite tight. So just releasing down, letting the chest and the crown of the head slowly melt down. If you're quite open in the hamstrings, you might be able to reach the hands behind. You might want to take them out in front if that feels more supportive. So just encouraging you to hang out here in your wide leg forward fold just for a couple of breaths. Nice work, everyone. Oh, Chrissy's changed the lights to blue. For 3, 2, 1. Inhale up to this halfway position. And I want you to bring the heels in and the toes turned out. Okay, so we're in this position here. We're working into goddess. From here, sink the hips down, sweep up with the arms, bring in the hands into this cactus position, so they're up next to the ears, and sink down into the hips. So working into this nice, strong hip opener. You can let the hips sink down as much as you can. Try to avoid arching the lower back here by really switching on your abdominals. So inhale, if you want to take a little squeeze the elbows together. I quite like this pec deck type exercise. We do this one sometimes in sculpt, which is our weighted class if you ever have a go. And again, squeeze and release, and lift up from there. Perfect. Step forwards. We're going to take that on the other side. So find the way to the front of the mat. Take a big step back with the right foot this time, turning towards the long right side of the mat. Remember, feet are parallel to start off with, maybe turning the toes in slightly as we look at our forward fold. So hands to the hips, take a breath, and start to move with the crown of the head. So we're not just dropping down towards the floor, we want to lead with this nice strong torso. Think about really engaging these lower lumbar regions of your spine. And maybe getting to halfway, maybe extending the arms and hanging out here. Or maybe taking the hands down. Whatever your preference is, just modify as you need to. So it's not about how wide you can take the feet here. If by taking the feet out really wide, you quite often lose a lot of the control within the pose. So just taking them to a comfortable distance where you can then refold from the hips. Again, maybe taking that reach out behind. Maybe taking a reach out in front if you feel like we'll need that extra stability. So coming into our goddess in a couple of breaths, and then hips and core. So this is a good preempt for our hips and core section. All right, so from there, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders so you can come into this straight arm position. All right, so from there, squeeze the heels in so the toes are turning out, drop the hips down, and then start to float up with the arms. So goddess pose, inhale. Heels are down on this one, but if you do want to challenge yourself, you could start by lifting one heel, pop it down, lifting the other heel, pop it down, or maybe taking a lift through both heels. Inhale here, maybe come down a bit deeper. It's going to challenge the balance. It's going to really fire up the thighs and the groin area, but that's no bad thing. Well done, hold in there. For 3, 2, can we come down a bit lower? Ooh, wobbling. And 1, nice work. Windmilling both arms, framing the front foot, stepping it back to plank, and let's just transition, taking the weight forward to low plank. Inhale up dog, and exhale to down dog. Ace, well done folks. Sound like a right scallywag there, don't I? You can tell I'm from Merseyside. Ace, it's ace that, ace. All right, coming forwards, we're going to lower down into Sphinx. Inhale, exhale, down you come. And here we go. So with our Sphinx pose, we're going to take a slight modification. We're still going to bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, but we're going to take the knees out wide. And then from here, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So have a little shuffle around on your mat. Get your knees as wide as you feel comfortable with, and then bring the soles of the feet together. So pressing down through the elbows, pressing down through the fingertips, relax the shoulders away from the back. Inhale. And then as you exhale, see if you can bring those big toes down towards the ground, but just keeping the soles of the feet pressing together. So this is working to lengthen the abs, firming up the butt. Again, another soother for the nervous system. So you can really feel this into the groin as you press down with the toes. So you could take this just on one side if you find that this is too intense. Maybe taking a little release and then going again. I'm going to take a nice peaceful resting melting heart, gently floating into the hips. So keeping the knees wide, release the feet, take the feet so they are in line with the knees, and then pressing the hands underneath the chest, or the shoulders even, and releasing the hips up high. Walk the hands out like you're about to take a child's pose. So it's like an extended child's pose, except you've got the hips to the sky instead of resting down towards the heels. From there, if it's possible, bring the chin down towards the earth and melt the chest to the floor. So puppy pose would be the easier variation by bringing the forehead down, whereas melting heart, let the chest move down towards the earth and taking that gaze forwards, or just closing the eyes perhaps. You can really feel that lovely stretch out through the armpits, down the upper arms, down the abdominals. Well done. Right, I'm going to tie you up in a knot now. I'm going to take a forward fold with a bind and then a boat with a bind. So squeeze onto the belly to get that nice strong core, and then walk the hands back. Nice work, everyone. Coming down onto the bottom, you might decide that you need a strap for this one, but we'll see how you go. So it's a forward fold with a crossover. So finding the sit bones, we're going to take the right arm over to the outside edge of the left foot. Now you can see I've got my knees really bent for this one. And then we're going to take the left arm over, onto the outside of the right foot. And already from there, I can feel that stretching into my lower back. And that might feel quite nice. And I encourage you to stay there if that does feel right for you. Otherwise, I'll start to move around by lengthening the legs. I always find it easier to walk the sit bones back here in this instance rather than try and shuffle the feet forwards. So just walking the sit bones back, and it might be that you get the legs reasonably long and straight, but it doesn't matter where you get to. As with our normal forward fold, I think you want to bring the heart towards the toes as opposed to just get that nice insta position, that nice insta pose where you're pancaking the chest to the thighs, just allowing yourself to lengthen out, not worrying too much what it looks like, but engaging and enjoying the sensations that this pose brings. So really nice for the outside edges of the shoulders, but my lower back is absolutely loving this. Okay, give me 2 more breaths, and then we're going to swap the arms over and take a boat pose. So we're going to get the same stretch through the shoulders by swapping over the arms. Here we go, inhale, rise up. Now I'll just release the bind for a minute and then bring the heels a bit closer. Okay, and then opposite way. So last time we had right hand to left foot. So this time we're going to do the same, but we're going to take it over the other side. So we're going to take the left hand across first out to the right foot and then the right hand on the top. You might even want to shuffle in a little bit more. So you're wiggling your way into this position here. And it might be quite a challenge to get the feet off the floor. That's okay, just play with it. So see if you can bring your sit bones down and a bit of length to your spine. Okay, because you've got your arms crossed, the shoulders will want to tend to hunch. I want you to lift up tall, and then maybe, if you can, start to play around with lengthening out the legs. But it's more about that lower back and abdominal engagement, which I want you to think about. So extending up. Nice work. Holding. Hold your hold. Well done. Really stretching out. Make sure those abs are working hard. For 3. For 2. And for 1. Nice. Rolling down with control. We're just going to take a couple of poses on our backs and then we're going to rock into our wild card. So rolling down onto your back. Just hug the knees in. Give yourself a little massage on the lower part of your back. And then taking the feet out to both sides of your mat. So you've got a nice wide stance. You can take the arms out wide. We're going to take a breath in, and then we're going to rock towards the left-hand side, bringing the right knee towards the left ankle. At this point, that might feel like plenty all the way down the right thigh there. You might be able to lift up that left foot and pop it on the right thigh. That's just going to add a bit more weight to the pose. This is roadkill, as we call it. If you find that this puts too much pressure on your right knee, which is why I'm saying put the left foot on the thigh as opposed to the knee, then just release it and come back into your normal twist. So releasing into the lower back, opening up through the chest, expanding the arms wide for 3, 2, 1. Squeezing onto the belly, releasing that left foot and then making your way back to center. Inhale and exhale to the other side. Left knee coming towards the right ankle. So keeping both shoulders grounded, possibly lifting up the right foot, popping it on top of the left thigh. Gazing over towards the left, it just makes it extra juicy into the outside of your left hip by adding that extra weight on. But no worries if it doesn't work for you, just take a nice double leg spinal twist. I always want to make the poses work for us. Nice expansion of the belly and chest. 1 more breath here. And then taking the gaze back to center, releasing the top leg and folding in from there. All right, we're going to take a fish pose. So rocking up a little bit so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. If you've got a brick to hand, then you might want to use it on its skinny long side between the shoulder blades. That might be a good way of just allowing the crown of the head to come down to the floor. So we're going to tuck the elbows together and rest down. So my hands are like this underneath my body, fingers pointing towards my heels, scuttling my elbows a bit closer. And then exhaling, releasing the crown of the head down towards the ground. So you get that lovely opening sensation to the chest. If you want to move the weight back a little bit more in order to get the crown of the head down, or you can pop a cushion underneath if you prefer. And then full modification of the fish pose would be to raise both legs into the air. See how that feels. There's no pressure to do this. For another 3. This is a good one for the core. 2. And 1. Slowly bring the feet down. Bring the chin to the chest. Releasing the arms. And then rocking and rolling up to seated. All right, now I'm thinking handstands. That's what I'm thinking. If you're at home and you've not got space, you could do this towards a couch or towards the bed or something like that. Or you might just want to watch first of all. I'm just going to just give this floor a bit of a wipe there. Okay, with your handstands, what we're aiming to do, I'm just going to give myself a bit of grippage, is to control. And you've got different ways of working into it. You've got your traditional sort of throw and go where you're taking your hands down and you're kicking up like this, okay? I want us to work more today on that control of getting up via a bunny hop. Okay, so hands underneath the shoulders, pointer finger facing forwards, and even if you're here today and you're just working the heels towards the bum, little kick, like so. That's it, it's a little kick. Maybe a little float, nice soft landing. So engaging and pressing down through the fingers so that we're lifting the hips up above the shoulders. Okay, so it's that sensation that we want to gather. I don't want to kick up too high because I've got that shelf above me. All right, so kicking up, hanging out, and coming back down. So that's going to give you that strength and that sensation of pushing away. Something you could try if you've got 2 bricks is to take a brick under both hands and stabilising the shoulders a bit more that way. So having 2 bricks here can really allow you to wrap the upper arms in, just as we would do in our down dog. And again, just focusing not on the height of the pose, but initially that bunny hop entry and that strengthening of the shoulders. So kicking up, it'll take you loads of practices, don't worry. Little pause, and just keep working at it from there. Okay, once you get to that point where you feel like you're hanging a little bit and you've got that balance, you can start to extend the legs up. Okay, if that doesn't work for you and you're more wanting to have that throw and go practice, that's fine. You could even take it from a downward facing dog. So you are here in dog and then you are kicking up. Am I going to hit that shelf, Chris? I'm a bit worried. No, I'm all right, am I? Okay, now I'm happy with that. So you can press up from there. And you can see that I'm not coming down too much in the shoulders. I'm lifting up, pressing up, engaging. Okay, squeezing in the butt, squeezing in the belly, and then letting the head drop down. So you've got that nice alignment. Wrists, elbows, and shoulders. From there, you can always start to float a little bit into, whoop, or not, in this case, floating the hips above and then the ankles as well. So lots of information there. Feel free to rewatch the video. Mainly working on moving into handstands with as much control as you possibly can. Okay? So have a go with those variations. As I said, if you've got a couch behind you, that is a good way of doing it. So when you're ready, feel free, come on down, have a little rest down in a nice comfortable pose. Take any other resting positions or releasing positions that you want to. You could circle through the knees. If you're feeling that in the lower back, you might want to just windscreen the legs one way, then the other, or take a happy baby, and then just stretching out into your Shavasana from there. So breathing fully into the front body, into the lungs, into the belly, letting them lift. And just letting the breath move away out of the body and taking with it anything which perhaps you're storing at the moment, which you're agitated or you're anxious about something. See if you can use these next few breaths to release a little bit and find a bit of strength in your breath. Find a release. Resetting. I've overrun a little bit on this vid, so I'm going to come up to seated, but feel free to stay here for as long as you can, or your day will allow. It's just as important to find the stillness as it is to do all the physical poses in the class, to find that mental focus and concentration. So I'm going to take the knees into the chest and have a little rock, and then move into my seated position. So just giving yourself time and space just to breathe, just to be in your Shavasana. And then maybe when you're in your seated position, just going to take a few breaths here to round off class. So inhaling, bringing the arms up and exhaling. Nice big breath out through the mouth. And again, inhale. Fill up the lungs. And release. Releasing any stale air at the bottom of the lungs. This time bringing the hands together. Exhaling the hands to heart center. Bringing the hands to your heart. Taking a little bow. Bringing the forehead to the fingertips. Well done, everyone. Thanks for joining me for Dave. Flex 10. I'll see you all soon. Namaste. Well done, guys.
So, can you just mention that if people are happy with how it looks?
Hang on.
Share with friends, maybe.
Chris is saying, if people are happy and they know it, clap the hands. No.
This is
If
still go out on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, so this is obviously going out across many different mediums. If you're happy with what you're getting, could you share it? Could you post to friends and family or anybody else that you think might be interested in what we're doing?
Friends, don't we now? More
Yeah.
friends.
Get some friends on board, see what they think.
Now we're happy with
I've
equality.
got lots of my family involved. But yeah, all good.
Rosie's full family.
Yeah, Rosie has a full family involved as well. But yeah, it's just about getting out there and sharing the love.
Get them in the Zoom room with you, it's fun.
Can you hear what he's saying? He's saying get them in the Zoom room with you, it's fun. Sophie's doing the heart. I thought your sister was